Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. I figured today would be an amazing opportunity by breaking down exactly what we're watching with Bitcoin and analyzing again at this 25K level. As you guys know, in my last video we talked about why 25K is the last line of support for the bulls and how if we lose this level it's most likely going to create a multi-month correction. Now that we've actually defended this level once again, we're going to go back through, analyze some things that I didn't talk about in yesterday's video, and then touch up on the total market cap so that you guys know exactly where I think the market is headed and how much more of this correction we still have to go through. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, now here we are to start off today's update, and we're going to go once again talking about this same point of the 25K level. Now in my last video we talked about how we really needed to hold this, otherwise we were going to actually start a multi-month correction, and how the second that this level, being the 25K level of the August highs inside of our bear market, if this became resistance, we would be expecting a pretty large drop to happen after that. So then the question has been, are we going to be able to find some type of support inside of this upper range, or are we going to break down and then start, a deeper correction back down into the range that we were in, basically the entirety of the bear market bottom. Now, I've always leaned towards us holding this support and then kind of finishing one final blow off top, but we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, with us on top of this level, sitting on top of this level, we are technically holding it as support, and we can see that in the last few attempts, we've had multiple different attempts at a move below this level. Now originally every single one of these bounces and retests were quite a bit higher, and then the last three have consecutively dropped to a lower low. Now the problem is all three of these are lower lows, but we're still maintaining above this 25K level in the big picture. So nothing has really changed, even though we are continuing on into this downtrend. It's not like there's any major sort of confirmation. And I would say that from here, we're getting ready to make a move. It's either going to be a breakdown or a breakup, and I think that there's not really much more deciding that needs to happen, and a lot of this is riding around the S&P 500. The S&P 500 just made a big breakout, and so Bitcoin has held this support, but if we're to see the stock market make this big sell-off, then it's hard to say how Bitcoin's going to be able to fare through that. My guess is it most likely wouldn't perform very well, and with Bitcoin already having a descending resistance, it's very apparent that with us now having retested this level, if we get any sort of correction, we absolutely have to break out here soon. If we're not going to be breaking out of here soon, I just don't see the scenario that this continues to hold the support, just mainly because of the fact we do have this obvious trend, and we are kind of building this little wedge right in here, at least in the short term. We're going to move this first descending resistance. This little wedge in here has had all of these lower lows in the price, right? Every one of these attempts at this 25K level ultimately is producing smaller and smaller bounces. Now, with us getting tighter and tighter onto 25K, and with us now hugging this descending resistance again, I think that now is really the time where we're going to break out, because if we don't break out here and we see this thing kind of fall back again, don't be surprised if we lose this support and it does fall to another low. However, if we're able to see this kind of hold support, even if we kind of correct in here in the mid-range point and we get this breakout, then I do believe that that's the confirmation that we're going to see before we make our next leg up, at least back up to the range highs being around 29,000. But I think that if we break out of these bottoms, it's most likely going to run to a new high as a whole. So that's what I'm watching out for with Bitcoin in the short term. Let's get over here in the total market cap, because in my opinion, this is maybe what's giving me a little bit clearer of an idea into the market structure, because in the total market cap, in my opinion, it looks a little bit more easy to understand. We have better Elliott wave structure. In my opinion, we finished a very easy to identify 5-wave impulse up, and it looks to be like we're completing an ABC correction, and we are either in the latter stages of this ABC correction. Now remember, the way that you would know is you would have 5 impulse waves inside of this final wave C. So we see 1, we see 3, and we see 5. Technically, this would count as a wave count, even though wave 4 does intersect inside of this wave 1 and wave 2. inside of a corrective Elliott wave structure, you can actually see that. Now, this is the only real bullish scenario that we have. The bearish scenario would be that we're still not done with this correction. This will reject and we'll fall to one more final capitulation, right? And then that would be the scenario where this ultimately rejects and we kind of get this one big drop to complete this. And so that's kind of the and so that's what I'm watching for if in fact we're unable to break out right here. If we're unable to break out, then we would basically just be looking at a complete reversion to the 618. And right now we're just sitting on the 0.5, right? So that's where we're at right now. We did hold the 0.5, but we never really saw a big breakout. So this can go either way. I wouldn't be surprised to see continuation, but if we reject in the same ways that we've been going, considering the fact we're still just below this downtrend, then we would be expecting a move back down to the 618, which the 618 is going to be about around $1 trillion in total market cap, and for Bitcoin you're looking at about 21,500. So that's what I'm going to be watching for with Bitcoin and the total market cap, and a lot is really riding with this level. Now when we're looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been above the 25K level the entirety of this consolidation. So within the last few attempts of us bouncing off this level, we've all been anticipating that Bitcoin was going to hold the support because it's a very obvious support to be looking at. When we look at the total market cap didn't get quite the same size of a move, and we didn't really break out of our August high. We temporarily broke out of them, and then instantly we sold back down. So we didn't see the same type of a breakout. And even in the sell-off, we've seen lower lows and lower highs in a much greater way than Bitcoin has, right? Bitcoin's held a little bit better support as we've seen altcoins kind of get smashed around all of this SEC lawsuit stuff. Now, with the total market cap already being at this 0.5 and with Bitcoin holding better support, if we were to see the total market cap hold at this 0.5 and then Bitcoin hold at this 25K, I think that that is enough of a correction just based off of how deep the total market cap has actually corrected. When we remove our drawing tools here and we look at this, the level that the total market cap has actually bounced off of is a decent level of support. And if we lose this, then I think that we do come all the way back down near, basically the consolidation that we were in leading into the FTX collapse, being this level here, being kind of the low end of our June capitulation, and even the wave 4 support that we held inside of this correction in March, right? That's kind of the level that I would expect that we would kind of come back down to if we are to see Bitcoin lose this upper support here. But I don't think it's really going to matter a whole lot. It's going to be really easy, straightforward to trade. Obviously if we start to see Bitcoin reject up here, it starts to lose this support in the same ways that all of these have, then I would be anticipating that this is also going to reject and fall to one more low. I can see it going either way, but we don't have any confirmation, so I'm going to keep you guys updated with that. Now, one other thought here before we wrap up today's video is talking about the Bitcoin dominance chart, because we've been updating this one quite a bit, really trying to decide how this breakout was going to come, if we were going to see a breakout, and obviously we have seen a breakout from this range. And so this has been the big question. Our entire bear market since May of 2021, really, when Bitcoin topped at 65K, we've been consolidating in this same range. And we've been wondering whether we were going to get final breakout to complete this before doing something like this. And this is actually the scenario that I had drawn the whole time. I had always anticipated that Bitcoin was going to break out of this range, run upwards of about 53, even upwards of 58% dominance before kind of coming back down and then starting our next major bearish decline. This is the way that I anticipated the market happening, and so I'm still anticipating the same thing. The only thing that has changed has been the fact that we got confirmation in the breakout. So now that we're out of this range high, I am expecting something kind of like a Wyckoff, right? Where even this was a little bit of a Wyckoff, but more along the lines of this sideways ranging before breaking out, making one big move, sweeping outside of the range highs, only to then kind of come back down and start a new bearish correction, right? That's what I'm anticipating inside of this move. The question is going to be, how high do we go before we top? Now, my first target's 53%. I do think that we have the opportunity of running to at least that. But if we run up a little bit higher, don't be caught off guard by that. The things that we're kind of watching for, or what I'm watching for, is this descending resistance from the last cycle, which could take us anywhere from like 53 all the way up to 58%, depending on how high this wants to go. But I don't think that it changes the big picture. Remember, big picture altcoins are in a down. Remember, big picture Bitcoin's in a downtrend against remember, big picture, Bitcoin dominance is actually in a downtrend. We're constantly seeing altcoins growing. We're constantly seeing them improving and gaining market share. So even with this breakout, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to start breaking out and going into new all-time highs or anything. This isn't a downtrend that will continue to be in a downtrend as long as altcoins are gaining adoption. So this will be the final kind of ending point to finish this entire move, and really the ending point of our bullish cycle for the Bitcoin dominance. And I do believe that after this move, this is where the point comes where we should start to see, the bull run for the altcoin dominance. And that's something we haven't really seen. ETH against its Bitcoin ratio. It looks like it's got another drop coming in here. Question is, are we going to come and find support somewhere down in here, or are we going to come all the way back down to the low end of the range? I'm not 100% sure here, but ETH is just going to show the opposite, right? And so ETH is still in the same sort of contracting consolidation. It's in the same situation as the Bitcoin dominance, but if we're looking at this on a big picture, notice how ETH is in this big uptrend, right? We saw these two impulses in 2017, this big correction, but this entire type of rounded price action is us building a foundation before eventually this thing starts really taking off into our next cycle. And so that's why I say big picture, nothing's changed with the Bitcoin dominance. It's in a major downtrend. Altcoins are going to continue to see market share, but in the short term, we're going to see this final run inside of the Bitcoin dominance, whether that tops at 53%, whether that tops at 58%. We don't really know, but I do believe that when that run happens, this will be the final correction for Ethereum against Bitcoin before it does finally start to make that next cycle. So anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. Wanted to make a quick one, wanted to make it short and simple, straight to the point. If you guys found value in it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to follow the trades that I post, anything I do with my money, links are in the description to go ahead and follow my website. Thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate you guys so much. I love all of you guys, and I really am thankful that you guys support the channel as much as you do. Overall, not much has changed. I'm gonna keep making these updates for you guys as we get closer towards this week, and hopefully towards a decisive point towards the market direction. Anyways, thank you all so much. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.